Well, good evening, the two of you who showed up. I'm going to wait for a few more people to come in. I wanted to have my other video up, the one that I did of that vintage British 12-hour ration, but I'm having issues uploading it, so what I may have to eventually do is literally play it on my computer and then live stream on my phone the playback of it. That way it looks like it's live, but it's actually just a replay of that other one. I've got it in my computer ready to upload in the proper format, but my computer keeps crashing every time I try to upload it, and I have no idea why. So I tried it again overnight, and when I checked earlier today, my computer had crashed, and I checked the upload before going live with this, and I see that it is another fail, so I think that's what I'm going to have to do is just play it on my computer and then aim my phone at it and then go live with that and see how that works. Either that or I record it on my phone and then let that upload overnight, and hopefully that should work. But anyway, what I have here is the second ration that Nathan's MRE sent me, and he told me that it was a 2006, so I wrote it on the bag. And this is a vegetarian. It's a spicy penne pasta. It says vegetarian right on the bag. It is menu 11, and this is from 2006. And he sent this along with that vintage 12-hour ration that was sent to him by NEM's MRE. And so that's what I have. And I have my coffee pot ready to go with heating up the hot water for the coffee or whatever hot drink is in there. And I have salt on standby for the ration heater because I do want to give that a go. So again, I want to welcome all who just decided to drop in, see me live. I don't announce these because I haven't decided always whether I'm going to do it as a live review or shoot it for a later upload. But I might have to do more live reviews because of my uploading issues from my computer. I guess that's what you get when you get a factory refurb that crashes from the get-go. But that's what I could afford at the time when I needed to get a new computer that would at least be halfway decent. But since there are a few more of you here, I'm going to give this peelable seal a try. Sometimes people have issues with these, sometimes they don't. I think the quality of these bags and the seals have changed over the years, but this one doesn't seem to be getting anywhere, so I'm going to cheat. This was packed by the Warnick Company. And there are no date codes on here. So the only reason why I know it's a 2006 was because Nathan had told me that in a message. So everything's out of the bag. I'll be using that to collect the trash. So I have sliced cranberries. These are not the osmotic. I don't like those. I found those really weird. Have the accessory pack C, which has spiced cider. So that will be the hot drink instead of coffee. So I will be doing that hot, since that is traditionally how these spiced ciders are made. So I'll be getting into that in a bit. Pumpkin pound cake. And have the usual spoon, but I will not be using that because I have the foronMRE.com spork to go along with my foronMRE.com mug. Have a beverage-based powder orange. That will go in the drinking jar. Just plain peanut butter. That will go on the crackers. Check for hiss later. Here is the flameless ration heater, which I'll be throwing the salt into. 2006, so definitely we'll be throwing the salt in. And here is the beverage bag, which I will not use. For one thing, I'm at home. I'm not out in the field. I have my drinking jar. So I use these for storage of smaller items that I would like to keep clean or dry in kits or packs. And then we have the vegetarian main, which is the penne with vegetable sausage crumbles in a spicy tomato sauce. Now, vegetable sausage is basically a soy protein product that has been processed to give it the appearance and texture of meat. And of course, this is back when the mains used to be in these boxes, and now just the sleeve is provided. Now, this spiced cider probably does not make it into rations much, but go ahead and open this accessory pack up. Here is a spiced cider. There'll be no creamer or sugar. There's a packet of salt. There is a salt-free seasoning blend. This peppermint gum looks a little bit yellow. It's not the crisp white that a newer gum would be. But then sometimes the older gums will look whiter than this. Usual matches with the white tip. The Lighthouse toilet paper. And the moist towelette. Just pushing aside those items that I will not be using. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing fired up. I'm not looking at the chat yet. I will in a bit. Sometimes these ration heater bags can also be a bear to open, so I'm going to cheat with that as well. If I didn't have the current issues that I'm currently having with my stove and the range hood, I would probably just throw the main into hot water, but because I'm not going to do that until I get that issue fixed. This, I'll either take my chances with the ration heater bag, or if that doesn't work out, then simply get a bowl and put it in the microwave. And heat it up that way. That would be the best backup plan until I can get my stove issues fixed. I did not get the foam sleeve that came with the Chinese MREs that I've done in the past, because I'll just use the box. But again, before the tear notches on these retort pouches got moved to the ends, it was put up here so you'd have a small opening, whereas now is they're done so that you pull it off and you can eat it from the pouch even if it had a shorter spoon. I'm going to throw some water in here. I want to make sure this is good and saturated. And I can already feel this thing starting to get warmed up. So I'm going to stick this back in the box. And I'll just kind of put that off to the side. What I will do is I'll go ahead and heat up the water for the spice cider. And it sounds like it's pretty loose. So that'll take a few minutes since I didn't want to start that ahead of time. Sorry about that. I kicked my tripod. I'll go ahead and open this powder up, see how it is held up. Smells good. Nice even color on that powder. Nice and loose. While I wait for the water to heat up for the spice, I'm going to go ahead and mix up this orange beverage powder. Smells like Tang. Very, very artificial orange color. My lighting is weird, so it may not look as orange on camera as it does to me. It doesn't look like Tang when it's mixed up because Tang has a completely different shade of orange in color. This almost looks like orange flavored Kool-Aid. It'll take a little time for this to dissolve. I can hear my coffee pot getting done, heating up the water. There's some heat coming off. These older ration heaters sometimes take a little while to kick off, even when you add salt. I'll go ahead and I'm going to knead the peanut butter with one hand as I get the hot water for my cider. It looks the color of tea. But I can definitely smell that it is an apple cider. Artificial apple smell. I can smell the spices, although they're not as prominent as a commercial or a homemade spice cider. But this is mixing up very well. I'm just going to, I just tipped you up to give you a look at that. I'm not hearing a whole lot of noise from the ration heater, but sometimes these things aren't really noisy, unlike some others. I'm going to set these back here. These just say sliced cranberries. No tear knots, so I will cheat. Oh, that looks like raisins. Doesn't look like cranberries. I'll dump them out so they definitely look like raisins. There is no oxygen absorber in there. They're still soft, but they look brown. You can still see a little red on the what would what would be the uncut side. Sorry about that. So I will try. I will at least try it to see if how well they build up, and if they're the osmotic, I would definitely not have any hopes for it. This is the pumpkin pound cake. I can definitely smell the spices coming off of it. Now, this one does have the oxygen absorber. Oop, and the crumb just... So I'm gonna put this over here. I wanted to get that oxygen absorber off the floor because I don't want my cat to find it later. It's a very, very crumbly, a very, very dry cake. Unlike some pound cakes, which are usually moister, this one is definitely a bit wrinkled. It looks wrinkled. I don't want to pick it up too much because it's so crumbly. This appears to be a good seal on the crackers. very, very slight hiss, but I did hear it. I don't know if you heard it. Didn't quite open all the way across, but that's okay. We'll see how well these held up. I think there's going to be a bit of breakage. So I'm trying to peel this back a little bit to make them come out a little easier, so there's as little breakage as possible. Sometimes these can be very, very tightly sealed when they're vacuum packed. Well, only a few crumbs. They definitely smell stale, so I don't know how well these will be to try. I think I want to give this thing a little more time, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the pouch in here. I'm basically inverting it. And I'm going to slide it back in the box. So I want to give that a few more minutes. And while I wait, I want to show something that I had thought about just doing a regular mail call video on, but figure since I decided I'm going to go ahead and do this live, I'm going to open up a box on camera during this live stream. I opened this box because I wanted to inspect the contents. Now that I've get packages from the Postal Service, even if they only come from across the state of Iowa, they can still get mailed up. And this is no exception. So I went ahead and opened the package just to make sure that everything was intact, so that I would not have to contact the seller and say that this is a complete postal failure. So the seller at the time that I bought this had a few of these, and these are also somewhat dated. And this is something that may or may not have been ever reviewed on YouTube. It comes in this it looks like a fabric bag that is kind of like a dryer sheet that has not had the scent applied to it. So it came pretty well packaged, but I did go ahead and do a full inspection. And although this was marketed by the eBay seller as a military ration, I do not think it is, because this is totally civilian. And all I know is what was listed. It is an Asian-style chicken stir-fry. And according to this is made in I believe 2014 has a Best Buy of 2016, but this is somewhat like either the heater meals that was first shown by Sticky Fingers 745. He sent me one in a trade. And then the 5-minute chef video that Country Girl MRE did a video on, where you have the box that you use as the heater container, the entree or meal, a ration heater. So I will be reviewing this separately, but I wanted to open this. And in fact, when I do the review of it, when the review is posted, I will send a message to the seller to the review video, because he said that he knows there are people who do these reviews on YouTube, and he would be very much interested in seeing someone review one of these. So again, this is totally kosher. This is similar to any other commercial self-heating meal. I seriously doubt that these are issued to the Israeli military, but I could be wrong. Especially since there's just the entree, the ration heater, and a napkin and cutlery packet, salt and pepper, and then that's it. Will come at a later time. I'm going to go ahead and give this orange drink mix another stir, just to make sure that it's all dissolved. And that appears to have been. Yeah. However, if this, well, now this ration heater's starting to kick off. I flipped it, and I can feel it through the box that it's getting warmer. So in the meantime, I'm going to break up one of these crackers. I'm going to take a very, very tiny test nibble, see if it's still edible. It tastes old. You know, it tastes a little stale, but it still has that cracker flavor. It's not completely whacked out. Although what I'm thinking of doing, instead of actually using this peanut butter, I might actually, I'm not sure if I will use this or not, or maybe just mix up the crackers, bust up the crackers and put them in with the pasta to give it a little texture. I'll just see how that works. I will go ahead and break this pound cake in half. It looks the color of carrot cake, but it is pumpkin. I will take a little test nibble of it. There's a little sugar on the outside. to give it that little bit of sweetness. But there's also sweetness from the pumpkin spices like nutmeg and clove and cinnamon and maybe allspice or a combination of those. But it is very, very dry. And I do not have anything right out here that would help matters any. So I will take a taste of this spiced cider. I can smell it more than I can taste it. It tastes almost like warm apple juice. I can just barely get a hint of the spices in there, but it's still quite decent. I'll definitely drink it. I'm going to take one of these cranberries, and this is sliced cranberries. There's no oxygen absorber in there. So we'll see how that goes. They still taste fine. I think this brown is just the natural sugars that have come out as they've sat around, just like raisins do, or dried figs when they've sat around for a while. Some of the natural sugars might crystallize. I think that's what this has done. So I'm not getting anything weird in my mouth from that. Again, these are still quite soft. They're still quite pliable. I'm going to take a taste of the orange. Tastes like orange Kool-Aid. It's not one of those isotonic drink powders. Now I'm going to go ahead and I turned to look at the chat because I have my computer set up to look at the chat, since it's hard to read it off of my phone because, for one thing, the text is small on my phone, and because of the way I have it positioned, it's just not in a good position for me to try to read it. So I go to my computer to look at the chat. Delicious is in the house. My brother from a Polish mother. Well, I'm also Polish, but it's pretty late in the evening for Delicious. But thanks for dropping in, even if you can only hang for a few. Morningwood is here. Tracy Phillips, thanks for dropping by. Oh, for an MRE, Art and Ornina. Thanks for that $10 super chat. For those that have not come to my live stream before, I've only done a few of them since I've gotten remonetized. I have the super chat enabled, so what he did was kick me $10, and he says, love your live streams. So that all that money, along with any other ad revenue I get, will get banked up so that I can do something special with it, or possibly invest in something that will help me make my video shooting better. Let's talk about prepping is in the house. Now let's see how well this I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. Well, this actually is darn hot, so doing the salt trick does work with these older ration heaters. I'm just getting rid of the box and the heater bag. I'm just giving the pouch good work over. Here it comes. I apologize, my arm creating a shadow, but it smells like some kind of a commercial canned spaghetti sauce. Yet it almost smells like a pizza sauce. Actually, it smells like it's edible. So, looks halfway decent. Stuff all the trash in the MRE bag just to make for easy disposal. Well, the penne is actually somewhat, doesn't appear to be too soft. That's what a piece of the penne looks like. It still has flavor. This is perfectly fine. I'm not going to add anything to it. This salt-free seasoning packet I don't think is necessary, so I won't be using that. The pasta is definitely below the al dente stage, but it still has its shape. My cat is meowing in the background. I don't know what's on her mind. But the sausage crumbles, the vegetarian sausage crumbles, I think you can, there's a piece of a green pepper in there. It does have the texture of meat, but obviously not the flavor. So I think they make the sauce so intense to cover up the fact that you're eating a protein product. There's no meat, they have to up the protein somehow, so that's why you get the peanut butter. But it's still not bad. I will definitely finish it off. That's okay, Ciara. You dropped in for a few. There's no harm in that. So thanks for dropping in, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. Same to you. Let's talk about prepping. Have a good ride home. I am going to go ahead and bust up some of these crackers. Just to give it a little texture. Not all of them, obviously, just a little bit. This tray that you see me use is one that I have had for many, many years. It is a Tupperware lunch tray, I think it's called. You can still find them on eBay, either new or used. When my high school class was having a fundraiser, we had a Tupperware party, and I bought for myself one of these trays, and I've had it ever since. I've taken it to picnics where we had to bring our own plate and utensils. And when I got into doing ration reviews with the very first MRE that Stick Your Fingers 745 sent me, thought, I don't need to buy a tray. I got this Tupperware tray. I'll use it. And so that's what I've been using. So it's not the flashy metal or the one that looked like the ones you get in your high school cafeteria. But it has done the job. And I'll continue to use it. May have a few stains from the different foods that I've had on it that have left their mark, but to me that just adds character. Adding the cracker bits does give it a little extra crunch, a little extra texture since the pasta is so soft. I'm sure that's what some people who might have had to eat this out in the field would have done. In addition to just having the peanut butter on the crackers. You know what the heck, I'll go ahead and rip peanut butter open. Actually, I'll cut a corner off like as some people do. So that not all the peanut butter comes out in one huge clump. Now that is what the peanut butter looks like. It looks pretty darn good. We'll give it a go. US MRE peanut butter is not sweet like some other peanut butters that might show up in other rations or that you could get commercially available that have added sugar or honey or other sweeteners to it. So it can be a bit dry, but it's still quite smooth, still quite edible. But it just makes you all that much thirstier, along with the dryness and staleness of the crackers. But still, it's still going to be an enjoyable dinner. Well, if I pushed the food morning wood, then I would have to reach farther to eat it. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that. Yep, that's right, delicious. The smaller the hole, the better the control. Whether it's the peanut butter, the cheese spread, or the jam or jelly in a packet, and some rations that have the sweetened condensed milk in the packet, the smaller hole. I just took another small nibble of that pumpkin pound cake. I do like the flavor. I just wish it wasn't so dry. But then again, this is 13 years old. So I'm surprised it held up as well as it did since then. And I don't know how it was stored before Nathan's MRE got it. But being that he's done this quite a long time, he knows how to store rations. So he stored it in the best way that he could. And I keep my apartment a little on the cooler side because I don't want any funkiness going on with my rations. I don't have the space to have a dedicated cold room like I would have if I had my own house, or maybe a 2-bedroom place like the condo I lived in before I moved here. But this place is doable for me, so I'll make do with what I got. Oh yeah, I love those vegetable crackers. I've had them either in one MRE I had, or just in a bunch of extras that I got, and a larger lot of MRE components. I actually like those too. And what I'd like to try is the chipotle tortillas. I would love to give those a go. But maybe in time that'll come. Prehistoric peanut butter, is that as good as prehistoric honey that had been found in an Egyptian tomb not all that long ago? Several thousand years old, and the people who were exploring it, they cracked a container and sampled the honey. It was very well preserved and very, very edible. And they said it was delicious. Oh, Tracy, that I just heard your comment about that cracker that had crunch. Was it one of those special biscuits, sometimes known as Panzer waffles or armor plates that you get in Polish and Lithuanian rations? Michael Green put up a video of a Polish ration today that had those special biscuits with the caraway seeds that can almost be indestructible, except unless you apply a few tons of force on it. But that last Lithuanian ration that I did, I didn't eat those. I'm saving those. I'm going to send those to someone as a special gift who will know exactly what to do with them. But I substituted some other crackers instead for that one. But personally, I do like those. But I just wanted to save them for this other person who will have a great use for them. Now, honey, when it crystallizes, even if it's new honey, if it crystallizes, some people need to understand that it is perfectly fine when it does that. All you have to do is just gently warm it and it'll come back to its normal viscous state. In fact, sometimes honey, when it's crystallized, it can be just like eating candy. Or you can, it's easier to measure out, or if you want to put some in your tea, and if it's crystallized, it'll dissolve in that hot tea. Or if you put it in hot oatmeal, it's just as good that way. I just ate some more of that cracker with that peanut butter on it. But I keep going back to this because this stuff has held its age pretty well. Now, one person who did a review on those, put it in coffee or tea, or put it in soup that he had as part of a ration, and just let it sit in there, or just put the Panzerwaffle down, put the hot food on top of it, and just let it sit there, and then let it soften up that way, and then it was easier to eat. But I personally don't mind The extra crunch of them. I just wanted to share those with this, with someone who knows exactly what to do with them. But I haven't sent that package off because, for one thing, I went to find a few more things. Of course, I need to get the person's address. I can't ship unless I know an address. And I'm not going to reveal who that is until the recipient opens the package and sees what all I included. I will eat the rest of those because I'm not getting anything weird off of them. It's just that the color is weird because the natural sugars have come out to make it look that brown. Now this, show the gum again. See, gum would be almost as white as this, but you can see the big color difference. That looks maybe one shade lighter than the color of my tray. Maybe I can do this to give you an idea. So you almost can't see the color of the tray from the color of the gum. And that's even with my weird lighting that I got in here. So, I'm not much of a gum chewer anyway, so I normally don't chew that gum. But I just wanted to show you the color and how off-white it is compared to newer gum that you would get in either a newer MRE or one that had not shown its age quite as well. And as I said earlier, there are some ration gums that look a lot better than that. If they're meant to be white, they are white. They're not the color of a buttercream frosting. Oh, Thomas Whitten, thanks for dropping in. I'm occasionally looking at the chat, so if I see a name that I had not seen yet already, obviously I'll call that person out. Oh, feed is having trouble. I'm running both my phone and my computer off of my router. I couldn't get my phone to lock onto my Wi-Fi hotspot. But I have a slow internet as it is, so I do apologize for that. I can't tell when I'm looking at my phone screen whether or not I'm buffering or not. I would have to look at my computer to see if it is, and there's a bit of a delay in what my camera on my phone is seeing and what shows up on my screen. So again, I have very slow internet speed here. Where I'm at, we do not have fiber optic, and the DSL provider, which is CenturyLink, has no plans on upgrading this part of Des Moines for some time to come. It's like the east side gets the shaft when it comes to system upgrades. And I think that might be part of the reason why my last video upload was such a problem. My computer keeps crashing. Of course, I don't know what to do about that. I'm not a tech head, so I don't know how to solve that problem. On a computer that should still be running decent, since to me it was new and it was running, it's got Windows 10, but that was all I could afford when it came to buying a computer. And it's a lot easier for me to use a desktop computer than a laptop because it allows me to put the monitor exactly where I want it for my ease of use. Whereas a laptop, I would have to bend down at a weird way to see a screen that might be too small anyway. So again, I apologize for any buffering. I don't know if it helps to refresh your browser page or not. Sometimes I've done that, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't know what else I can do about it at this time, because I'm just going off of what my old Galaxy S5 phone is doing. I have not upgraded that. I've had that since 2014. So I suppose one of these months I might have to bite the bullet and get something a little bit newer. I know the one store where I get my regular cell service from has an S7, but I do not have regular cell service on this Galaxy S5. I ditched them because they were messing with me, so I just stopped giving them my money. And so I went with a cheaper phone and a cheaper plan, but I may have to buy a phone, a Galaxy S7 that they have, if they still have one, when I have the spare cash to do so. So maybe that's what I might use the first time I get a check from YouTube. I might use it to buy a new, either a new phone to use for my video shooting, and just keep this one as a backup, or I might actually buy an actual camera so that I can do some things with it that I can't do with this phone, which when I'm live I can't zoom. When I'm doing some things I can't, I get interrupted even when I'm actively using it. Sorry, I got tongue-tied. My phone will just want to go to sleep when it's not supposed to do that. So yeah, it's been giving me some fits, but it is what it is. Well, that's good that your S9 is working so far. I've heard from someone that the S7 camera is better than the S9 one, but then again, that could be for what they're doing with it, what they're using it for, or the particular version they have. I don't know. But if I can at least get either an S7, I don't know if I want to go to an iPhone. I've always, since I started using smartphones, I've only had the Android, so I've never used an iPhone. So I don't know what they're like. And my tablet is, that's Android based as well. And right now, those are my tablet use is only backup I have for my my phone that I'm currently doing this stream on. I probably could stream with my webcam, but I really don't have a way to get it properly set up for positioning for doing something like this. Now, if I was just showing my face and maybe not doing much of anything else like this, then yeah, I would probably do that. And I may do that for some live streams where I'm not actually doing a food review. But that will be something that I'll try out later to see how that works. Oh, Will, just-in-time prepping is in the house. So in case for those that missed the beginning, what I'm doing is this 2006 vegetarian MRE menu 11 penne pasta with the vegetable protein crumbles as a meat substitute. I got this from Nathan's MRE, who sent me that ration that I reviewed last week, but I have not been able to get the upload to complete. So, as I said earlier, what I may end up doing is just setting that up on my computer to play, and then I will either record it on my phone and upload it from my phone, which I can sometimes have better luck with and sometimes not. Or I will live stream that playback and just get it up that way. I've tried like 5 or 6 times to get that video up. First I tried on my phone twice, it kept crashing. Or it would not, it would get hung up or something like that. Or there would be an interruption. And then I've tried like 5 times on my computer. Each time it was a fail. My computer would crash during that upload. And I still want to get more memory for this computer. But right now I just haven't bitten the bullet. I tried, but the one seller just refused to send it to me. And yes, I did get my money back for that, but he refused to ship it to me. So there's no way I could have known if it would have worked or not. So I was not happy about that, so I just have not tried again to buy memory for this thing to see if adding additional memory would work. Wow. I don't know how well my Wi-Fi would do with 4K, having never had anything that ran anything that high end. To me, that's major high end. I may yet have to go back to Mediacom, which gave me faster speeds. I still had crashes, but it would not take 15 hours to upload a 20-minute video. Yes, I do have my video settings on HD, but I want quality video for my viewers, and I don't want something that looks like something that was shot on a 30-year-old flip phone. I would love to have a GoPro that would also make it easier for me to do some outdoor videos where I would not have to worry about the weather getting on it. Whereas, even though I have my phone in a hard case, there are still some holes where some monster could get in. But since I eventually want to upgrade to something a little bit newer than this S5, right now I'll just have to be extra careful with it. And I still want to have some kind of a mount that where I can be totally hands-free with the video shooting. And be able to either shoot video while I'm either walking on a trail with hiking poles, which I don't have, or if I'm, say, fishing, I want to have both hands free for that, or just whatever. So having some kind of either chest mount or a neck mount or a head mount would be good. But, of course, for me, that will have to come later on. Nicole Lake Erie Prepper. Hope everything is going good your way. Losing weight, eating all the MREs? Well, I don't know about that, because I don't do it as often as some other reviewers who may do it 2 or 3 times a week. And I've been mainly, I don't always do the 24-hour rations. That's just the once in a great while I might do one of those. But yeah, my quote-unquote losing weight time will be coming up in May when Ramadan starts, and I'll be fasting during the daylight hours and only eating very early in the morning before first light and not eating again until after sunset. Nicole, what I'm doing is a 2006 vegetarian MRE, spicy pasta with a meat substitute, vegetable sausage crumbles, which is nothing more than a Texas soy protein product made to approximate the texture of meat. I got this from Nathan's MRE, who sent me another ration, which I've already have recorded, but I'm having issues with the upload, so I gotta find out some other way to get that up onto YouTube, because my previous numerous attempts have all ended up in computer crisis or some other upload interruption, thus corrupting the files. YouTube couldn't process it. And so I've already done that one. That was a 2011 British 12-hour ration that used to come in a box, much like the British 24-hour rations do, just half the size. And there are a few things that were not quite edible out of that, but most of it was. But this one is from 2006, so it's even older than that one. And I have, so this is pumpkin pound cake. It's quite dry and crumbly, but still tastes good. These are cranberries, and they're brown because I'm guessing that the natural sugars have started to crystallize, but they're still quite pliable, and they still taste good. Got the peanut butter. Got the spice cider, which tastes okay. I mean, I'll finish drinking it. I've had better. Got basically orange Kool-Aid. It smells like Tang, but it doesn't quite taste like it. The cracker is a bit stale, but it's still perfectly edible. And I crumbled some of the cracker into this penne pasta. The pasta is a bit soft, but it's still recognizable as a penne. I can taste the spiciness of it. There are bits of green pepper that are easily picked out. But to me, the sauce smells like a combination of spaghetti sauce and pizza sauce. And I suppose they do that with these vegetarian entrees to mask the fact that there is a meat substitute in there. And they included this salt-free seasoning blend I've chosen not to use. But I don't throw those things out. I actually have a bag full of these things I can use for camping or whatever. I can throw some of them in an emergency bag. See, if I take a packet of instant mashed potatoes, I could throw that in there to give it a little extra flavor. Make an easy meal out of that. Oh, my phone is calling for juice, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and end it here instead of trying to wrangle up a power bank. And plus, my phone is getting hot. I can tell that. That's another problem with these S5 is the phone gets. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here for now, and I'll finish up my supper. And shout out to Nathan's MRE for sending this to me. And I want to thank you for watching, and catch you on the flip side.